Thank you all for joining us today. This is the latest in our webinar series, and after a couple-week break, kind of a summer break as you will, we're back to school here and back to discuss the hot topic of education. So while we're waiting to begin, I did put that poll up and I asked you what things look like in your area, and I want to share the results with you. So let's take a look. So by far the winner, a hybrid of distance and classroom. So this is not, I got to share this here. Yeah, you can see that. So it's a hybrid of distance and classroom, and that is not surprising to me. I mean, we're seeing big differences all across the country. So in today's session, we are going to take a closer look at some of those scenarios, and we're going to discuss products and ideas to help your education clients be prepared regardless of their back to school plan. This is my assistant today. This is Bartlett, who is terrified of storms. So please forgive me for, we're dealing with this as we can. So, and just a reminder for you all that all the participants' microphones have been muted, but please use that chat function in the Q&A section on your Zoom toolbar to pose any questions and give feedback that you have, because we really want to hear what's going on out there. We'll be monitoring those throughout. Stephanie will be taking a look and answering those online as we can, and if we can answer them on live, we'll do that as well. So we'll also be staying after class, so to speak, so to answer any questions that you might have. And we're also recording this session, and a link to that recording will be emailed to you later today, and that will also be housed on Navitor.com. So you can be watching for that a little bit later today as well. My name is Jill Kennedy, and I have been working with the sales and marketing teams with Navitor now for 14 years, and I focus mostly on the sales and support and ideas to help you all help your customers. So I'm joined today by our panel, or as I like to call them, our Navitor Dream Team of experts, and I'd like to introduce them to you now. So first we have Adam Christensen, and Adam has been Navitor's resident folder and packaging specialist for 5 years. Hey Adam, I think I heard that you have some exciting happenings in the packaging world right now, huh?
We do actually. Thank you, Jill. If you go on to Navitor.com, you will see that you can order packaging off the website now. So that's a new launch that we just did. As far as ordering, getting templates or anything like that for custom packaging, we're here to help you. So go on there. Easy guys for order.
Awesome, awesome, and we'll maybe take a little peek at that later when we go out there. So next we have Amanda Vogel, and Amanda's been in the industry for 20 years, and she's a senior sales leader. She's a close colleague and a revenue gap filler for us. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Jill. Hi, everyone. And in honor of keeping the title that Jill dubbed me with, the Biz Lab Queen Alive, I really like helping our clients think outside of the box, especially when they're looking for ways to expand their product offering.
Great. Thanks, Amanda. And then we have Sadie Whiting, and she is truly our label solutions superstar and our go-to for all things labels, stickers, and decals, a real expert. Thanks, Sadie, for joining us.
Hey, everyone. Good morning. And yes, I have some great label and decal samples I'm excited to show, so stick around, no pun intended.
Great. Thank you. All right. Well, as I mentioned in today's webinar, we'll be discussing education. And when we initially planned this webinar, the idea was that we were going to focus on higher education specifically, because we did cover K12 in a previous webinar. And here's my quick plug, is that recording is housed out on Navitor.com. So be sure to go and check that out if you didn't see it. But looking now at the current state of education in the country, we would really be remiss if we didn't include that K12 in this discussion as well. So we'll take a look at products and ideas for distance learning, in-school learning, as well as general facility readiness, including staff and faculty. But before we dig in, let's do another quick poll, just because I love them so much, and to get a pulse on what products that your education clients are mostly asking for. So I'll pull this up. Go ahead and fill that out. And while you're filling that out, we'll share those results shortly, but I kind of wanted to take a look at some of the statistics that we're seeing right now in the country. I mean, wow, when you look at this, although I miss my kids, I have to say I'm really glad that they're grown and out of the school system right now. I can't imagine being in the situation so many across the country are. You're trying to navigate these decisions to open or not, to send your kids or not. It's really incredibly daunting. This is a complex reality. In just the last 2 weeks of July, over 97,000 children tested positive for COVID-19. And school districts are dealing with this reality and deciding what's best for their communities. Considerations such as family income levels, digital inequality, and generational household makeups add a deeper level of complexity. We're seeing cases in Georgia, for example, where schools opened their classrooms only to switch to distance learning after just 2 weeks. And New York is planning on opening to in-classroom learning and really feeling confident about it. There are also schools in the United States and even around the world that have already opened and opened successfully. Many US districts are offering the hybrid option or letting the decision rest with parents, which we're seeing here. And we saw that from you and your responses. We're seeing wildly different plans based on geography, infection rates, and perhaps even political affiliation. We're not here to endorse one plan over another. That's not our job. What we are here to do is to make sure you have the tools and products available to you to help your clients prepare, whatever their decision is. After all, it is our kids, our teachers, our staff, our community's well-beings that are at stake. And one thing is certain, other than uncertainty, right? We'll all need to be ready for anything and everything. So we're here to help you with that. So Sadie, I am going to turn it over to you. We're going to start discussing that in that distance learning and what that situation looks at. But first, I kind of want to see what products people are looking for right now. So PPE related, and that's not a surprise at all. We're seeing that all over, and that's going to be, I think, a standard throughout. Wall and floor decals, absolutely, and we will talk about those more in detail a little bit later as well. But first, let's get started with in-home learning, Sadie. So, what do you have some ideas, and show us some ideas for what remote learning could potentially look like?
Sure. Thanks, Jill.
Sure.
So yeah, everybody, as you can see here, I mean, we all understand where this is at right now with the virtual learning being a huge part of it, as the poll even showed. And I'm a parent of a soon-to-be first grader who's very anxious to go in class, but it sounds like, and even just this week it changed, which obviously we all understand it's constantly changing. This week it changed. We were going to be starting actually in 2 weeks, and now we're looking at possibly the end of September. So there may be virtual learning up until that point. So there's a lot of things, a lot of products that can help in the virtual learning experience. So as you see here on your screen, there are all kinds of ideas and tools. And this goes from the K12 through 12 side all the way into the higher education as well. And of course, a lot of the higher education already have those online classes happening as their usual program. So it's really a lot of great products that you can see here. So let's dive into some of these in the remote classroom. So obviously the goal of the remote classroom is you want it to be a learning experience that is a success. There's a lot of information that needs to be passed between the school and the parents, or the school and the students. And there's also needing to keep that connection. So there's a lot of products that can help with that. So we're gonna look at a few of those here. So presentation folders, that's a big one. So you may think, they're not in person, but this is a great way to get all that information to them and in their hands. So folders might be a great place for brochures to go into, or you can also put welcome packets, teacher contact information. One thing that I heard with a higher ed facility is they were actually sharing out hotspot locations in their area for people that maybe didn't have extremely strong internet connections. They were able to go and have their classes at different hotspot areas. And so that was kind of a neat thing, and that could be something that could go in these folders. And of course, tutors, contact information, and all kinds of resources. And then of course, like we talked about here, there's the food programs that are really something else that's going on during the same time. So all this information can go really nice into a packet into the presentation folder. Another product that is something that some of you may not be aware that Navitor can help with, and I think it's a great idea, it's the dry erase memo boards. You see the image in the bottom right corner there. And these are great because they can be customized and branded, and of course they can really be made to fit the situation. So if it's for a teacher, they may find more use out of a memo board, a larger one, or if it's for a student, it may be something such as a dry erase decal or something smaller to help them be organized, whether that's keeping login information or some class time information, things like that. So keep those in mind when you're looking and working with your clients. And of course, printed magnets is one that we're all familiar with, and that's just another great way to keep information close by. And as we move on here, let's look at some great ideas around this whole technology use. Obviously, the big staple in virtual learning is, of course, technology. So you're going to have a lot of laptops being used. You're going to have a lot of tablets. I actually heard just yesterday that the school locally here, they're going to be dispersing Chromebooks to all of the students. So that's a lot of equipment going out. And so like you see here, up to 10% of students don't even have access to a computer. So part of this is just making sure they all have that equipment in their hands. So here's some products that are going to be a great way to help the schools and the students and the teachers and the parents all keep this all organized. So one thing is obviously we have, let me pull the sample out here for you. This is what we call, these are asset labels. You can see them in the picture in the middle there. So what this is it has the property of information, the barcode, and then this is a variable barcode. So every single one has a different number. So what you can do then is each piece of equipment that leaves the facility has this on it. So it's a nice way to keep that identified. And then in addition to that, kind of goes hand in hand, you can do the forms, the physical forms, to collect data as far as who has what piece of equipment, and then even providing the parents or the students with a physical copy of that form. And another great idea that we're really seeing popular right now are these tech decals. If you haven't seen these before, these are a great concept. What they are is they're basically, we have at Navitor a laser cutter that can cut any size or shape label. And sometimes in the industry, you see people where they have it locked into certain templates that you have to follow. With these, it's completely customizable. So what we're seeing is people using these to promote school spirit. You can put these on actual keyboards, on phones, on tablets, or even another great idea that we heard of is leaving one of these blank to where you can put login information and then put that right onto the laptop, because we're always looking for login and password information. So this is a great way to share that. And so what these are, it's probably hard to see a little bit, but these are all decals. And then the students can just stick those right on their equipment. So that's a great idea and really something that's helpful in promoting this and helping to make it a virtual experience that's successful. Next, let's look at school spirit. We kind of touched a little bit on this, but first here, of course, bumper stickers and decals have always been, it's something you see all the time. Everywhere you go, you're gonna see decals and bumper stickers. So keep those in mind. Obviously, one part of this whole experience in general and people transitioning to virtual learning is keeping the well-being of the students in mind, making sure that they feel a sense of community, they feel a part of the school, that they still feel connected. And so this is a great way to do that. Being able to put a bumper sticker on a vehicle, being able to have a decal, promotional items that they can see while they're in class and that they're using day to day. And then also the yard signs that are of course visible, just letting people know, you know, we saw the yard signs a lot back during the graduation season, but they really do carry over now as schools are moving to this virtual learning concept to keep using those and promoting that school spirit. So at this time, I know we just went through a bunch of great ideas for virtual, but really, as we've seen in the poll, in-school learning is also really prominent right now. So I'm going to give this to Amanda, and she's going to share some great things there for you.
Thanks, Sadie. Hey, guys. So for me, I have two children, one going into 2nd grade and one going into 7th grade. And I'd really be lying if I said I wasn't concerned with them going back to school. But like Sadie said, they're eager to, and the show must go on. So one of the things that has been shared here in South Dakota is that our doors are opening in 2 weeks. And we had a choice of either enrolling in the distance learning full-time or going back to school, but also being told to be prepared to have to pull an audible if there's an influx in cases. But some of the things that they shared with us that they're instilling for new procedures and things like that to help keep our kids safe are doing one-way hallways, kind of like we're seeing at stores these days. There's going to be sanitizer stations throughout to encourage the students to use it before and after classes. They're going to have reminders to wash hands, reminders not to touch their face or their masks. They talked about even doing assigned seating at lunch. That way they can ensure that there's going to be spacing going on in that main common area. And then they also talked about making sure the kids bring their Chromebooks home every day. So kind of tying back to Sadie's note with the asset label, there'd be importance to have that even for schools that are doing in-person classes as well. So the big question is, how can you help your clients keep these practices top of mind? And that's where we really start to look at the different products that we have to support that. And with our products, majority of them are completely custom. So these are just ideas and we can take them in just about any direction that you need to go. But some basic uses, one of the big things that you could do is offer advertisement or posters or things like that to direct student traffic, because that's the big thing that I'm sure everyone's seen with the Georgia schools. When they went back, everyone was crowded in the hallway, and it was kind of a congested area. So we want to kind of try to nip that in the bud before it starts. And one of the things we have that we talk about a lot are floor decals. These are for indoor use or short-term outdoor use. They can show direction of the traffic flow. They can be used for reminders on recommended distancing, maybe when they're standing in the lunch lines, things like that. Again, really trying to think about that K-12 and higher education. The application is going to be similar. Another thing that we haven't really talked a lot about are retractable banners. Those are great because the messages can be easily changed in and out, since you can just take that graphic off and replace it. We've seen those to just be big in-your-face reminders for kids about different things, but we've also seen them used to block off areas that maybe they don't want the traffic going because maybe it's a room that hasn't been cleaned or something like that. But we've also seen them be used as dividers. So maybe in the library, there's banners every so often that the kids are sitting in their station, just to have a little bit more of a barrier there too. And it could be a fun message, since this is going to be intimidating for smaller children. Maybe they're putting something fun on there just to kind of help ease that tension that's going on. And the other thing that we've talked about on a few of these webinars are floor stencils. So these are great for outdoor use. Really easy to use. You just lay them down and spray. For the spray paint, that's probably our most common question, is what should we use? So there's kind of a good, better, best option there. The good option being surveyor spray paint. That's going to be a temporary use. We have recommended the traditional spray paint. That's going to be a longer term. You still may have to redo it every few months or so, just depending on sun and weather and stuff like that. But then the best option, if you're really wanting something to last, is in the hardware stores, they sell traffic or marking paint that's used on roads or parking lots. So that's going to give the longest term use. So again, if you want to be that expert for your customer and say, we can do these stencils, here are some options that you can use for paint as well. And the big question that I get asked a lot is, why do we talk about floor decals so much? And my response there is, when you look around and see kids and adults, where are they looking when they walk? They're usually almost always looking down, whether they're thinking about their day or they're staring at their phone. So getting it there on the ground is a really good spot to catch their attention. Posters are just as good too, but having it in one additional spot isn't going to hurt, and the floor is a pretty common place for that to land. And the other thing that you can work on suggesting with your customers is looking at safety and sanitizing. So for safety and sanitizing, those are really hot topics for all businesses, but specifically for schools. And some ideas that we have there for you are posters to get those messages and reminders on the wall. And with the posters, we can help with paper posters, or we recently introduced that synthetic material that we talked about in the last webinar that you guys can go check out if you missed. But the cool thing about that synthetic material is it's more durable, it's going to last longer, it can be wiped down if it needed to, and just from past experiences, I can think about how many times I've looked in hallways at elementary schools or high schools where kids clearly ran their finger down the wall as they walked and those posters are ripped. We don't have to worry about that with the synthetic material. So it's a material that you can suggest to them. Another thing is Post-it notes. Post-it notes are underrated. They can be used for so many different things. And we've actually been seeing some orders lately where detailed cleaning checklists are printed on these Post-it notes. And there's a pad left in each room. And then whether it's the janitor or the teacher or whomever is responsible for doing those extra steps beyond the normal cleaning, they'll take that checklist, check them off, and then they'll place that in a spot that's easy for everyone to see, to say, yep, we took care of all these items, we're good to go. And then the other product that we have shown here on the bottom, these are really taking off. They're taking off in just about any industry that has people in smaller rooms. Where we're seeing it used in schools, they're door jam seals essentially. And what it is when someone goes into a room and does that nice deep clean and that sanitizing has been taking place, they can close the door and actually apply the label to the door and to the door frame, creating like a safety seal, essentially, giving that next person peace of mind that that room has been thoroughly cleaned and it can easily be removed or ripped and then they can go into the room. Some places that we could recommend that being used would be nurses' offices, because I'm sure that's going to be a really hot spot that's going to have to get deep cleaned every day. Meeting rooms, first aid rooms, maybe even dorms, or we've even seen like music rooms, because that's another concern with children blowing in their instruments and things like that. They just want extra cleanliness there too. So lastly, the product that I want to share with you guys when we're talking about back to school in session are sanitizer stands. So it's a new offering from us, and we actually have two styles that we offer. One is a standalone floor model that you'll see here, where we have one that's branded with the school logos that you've seen throughout, and the turning image just shows you how this actually works. The other version that we have at the bottom, I'm going to kick it over to Jill for a minute to share, but this is actually our tabletop version. So Jill, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, so this is quick. This is one of our prototypes, but you can get an idea of the size of it. It's very lightweight, but it's made with a foam core, and it does have that polystyrene coating on the top, which is really great because the moisture from the sanitizer will come down and could, you know, land on this material. I've seen it with cardboard in some stores that I've been into, and it really starts to damage the cardboard after a while. So this kind of helps, gives a little protection from that. Now keep in mind that I don't have the actual sanitizer in here, but there is a panel that slides in the back where you would put the sanitizer. It holds a gallon jug, and we do sell the sanitizer as well. Now this one shows a white back. Like I said, this is a prototype. The actual one will come with a black back, just so that you know. But yes, the sanitizer will come here, and it does have, you know, kind of like a dosage regulating pump that comes with it. But they can be customized, and we do have them available with standard colors as well. And Amanda, I think you'll talk a little bit more about what's available, right?
Yeah, thanks for showing that, Jill.
Sure.
We like to show that just because the pictures don't really do it justice. It really is a durable product, and with this product, it is made here in the United States, so we have good control of inventory and access to it. We don't have to worry about any potential hangups if it's getting sent in from overseas like some of the other options out there. They do come with sanitizer. The tabletop version comes with 1 gallon. The stand that you're seeing there comes with 4. We can sell the replacements for you as well, but super easy to use. They're great for either in-your-face messaging or getting the branding out there as well. And the sanitizer has been FDA approved too, because I know that's one of the other concerns that have come up with sanitizer these days. So it is a product that we can help you with. Just give us a call if you want some more information. And that kind of wraps up our ideas there. So from here, we're going to kick it over to Adam Christensen, and he's going to talk about facility readiness.
Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate it. A lot of good ideas for monitoring social distancing and stuff like that, but we need to make sure that our faculties have the right products out there to either to encourage students and welcome them back, but also with safety guidelines and everything like that, so everyone can stay safe. Students can stay safe and faculty can stay safe. Excuse me. So moving on to it, entries must have. These are great products, again, for if people need to just get some encouragement to come back to the facility. So banners, whether it's outdoor durable banners or retractable banners or anything like that, are great use for vibrant colors to fit your guys' brand guidelines or your customers' brand guidelines. Sale signs as well, not only just for encouraging, but also any guidelines that need to be followed, where they need to stop and park and drop off their kids or anything like that. Yard signs are a huge thing as well. You want maybe your school memo, or not memo, school saying on their mascot, anything like that, but also face masks are required. I know in Minnesota, our students are going to have to go back. My kids are going to have to go back with face masks. So those are going to be huge tools just as reminders that students and faculty need to have a face mask in there. And then also A-frame signs. I talked about how kids or people are going to need to know where to drop off their kids. So these A-frame signs are a great use for those. As guidelines also and rules change in your state, they're easily removable and replaceable. You don't have to actually order the A-frame sign again. You can just order the signs that get Velcroed on there. So they can be replaced very easily. And if those guidelines change, you're going to need to replace them. So it's a good tool to have there for you. In the common areas, bathrooms, cafeterias, auditoriums, stadiums, anything like that for the K through 12 or the higher ed campuses are going to need window decals. Just as a reminder, wash your hands, do it for 20 seconds. Other safety guidelines that need to be in the bathroom, these window decals are huge to put on those mirrors. Door hangers for posting sanitized schedules. People want to make sure or want to know that, hey, this room has been sanitized before you walk into it. So having a schedule on there that people can put their initials on are great. As well as seat savers. So identifying closed seats in auditoriums or stadiums. Social distancing is going to need to be a huge thing. So having those seat savers on there, keeping people 6 feet apart in classrooms and in stadiums and cafeterias and everything like that is a huge thing to have. All these are custom made, or not custom made, are custom branded. So logos, anything like that that are on there, we can create for you, or we can print for you, and are a huge, huge thing just to promote your guys' school brand, and also to make sure that your students and faculty are feeling safe when they're going back to school. Faculty and staff safety, we do offer custom masks. So if you are looking, since masks are being mandated now, something with school spirit, having a logo saying just your university or your high school on there, or K through 12 school on there is huge. We can custom make those, as well as ear savers on the back, especially with the younger kids. Well, even when I wear a mask, I get very irritated for that. It's after 10 minutes, but we can also custom make ear savers so those bands are not rubbing on your ears at all. Safety labels, lapel labels on your shirts, everything like that. Just great for teachers, just to give the reminders to their students, hey, wash your hands, social distance, no direct contact like shaking hands or anything like that are huge. As well as acrylic partitions in the cafeteria and in classrooms. Cafeteria staff and teachers want to stay safe. They don't want to be passing germs. So having those acrylic partitions on there are a great opportunity to keep that distance and no germs are getting spread at all. And moving with a great example, actually, with the acrylic partitions, we did find a study that over 1 million children receive school-based aids on speech and language impairment. That's going to be really hard to do when teachers are wearing masks. You're not going to be able to, or students that have this impairment aren't going to be able to read lips or see what their teacher is saying, or it might just be difficult for them to hear. So these acrylic partitions are huge because you're still not eliminating, but you're not spreading those germs because you're keeping that distance. There's a barrier in front of you, but these people that are struggling with the impairments can still see their teachers, read their lips, easily hear them. So those acrylic partitions are huge. I believe, Jill, you had somewhat of an example.
I do. I wanted to kind of show, I know sometimes in the pictures that we show, they look like these small little acrylic partitions, but I was going to do a show tell, but let me tell you, these things are pretty big and pretty substantial. So you can see the cutout right here. See me? So this one does have the protective coating on it. That's why it's blue, but it also allows you to see it a little bit better. So I can't even get it in the shot, but that's how big they are. They're very substantial, and I just thought it might be helpful for people to see what those are really, what they really look like. So thanks, Adam. That's great. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of some of the products, all the products for in classroom, as well as distance, remote learning, and so on. And as you can see, most of these products that we've shown can be used for both scenarios. So there's going to be a crossover, with many of them, especially when you look at the decals and so on. And I hope we have sparked some ideas that you can pitch to your customers. And I do want to show you quickly where you can access some of these materials. So I know we're getting short on time, and we are going to stay afterwards a little bit. So if we do go a little bit over, know that we are recording this, and feel free to drop off if you have to. But we will go ahead and just show some of these where you can find some of these products here. Let me go ahead and get on. I got to get to my right spot there. Sorry about that. Here we go. Hopefully you can all see my Navitor.com screen. Are you able to view it? Guys, let me know.
Looks
Yep,
good,
you
Joe.
can see it.
Okay, good. I want to be sure you could see. So just really quickly, just so that I want you to know where to find some of these materials that we're offering you. And all you have to do is log in. If you don't have a login to Navitor.com, you can see the sign up marker right here. So go ahead and just log in. And then once you're in to the site, there are ways to view that. I did want to show really quick here. Here's Navitor's Adam's packaging right here. So this is where it's available on Navitor.com. So real quick plug there. But if you just go to the Help and Resources tab, it's very easy once you're there. You can just go right over here to COVID-19 Comeback Resources. Click on that, and this will bring you to the page where all of the materials are located. It is a treasure trove of items. So, and these are all available to you. There's more available once you log in. There are some items available without logging in, but you're really going to want to be able to log in to access everything. And you can see all the different verticals that we have covered over the past few months during this recovery period. So just really quick, a couple of little things. The e-booklet, for example, that's the flipping book that we were showing. And it has all of those materials in there. And the product listing. So all of these are available to you. You can take them. We have them as that flipping book version. We also have them as a PDF that you can download and actually brand for your use. So you can add your own logo, add your contact information, and so on. All of the webinar recordings. So if you had to drop off, or if you have to drop off today, the recording for this one will be located in probably in our higher education section. So webinar slides. So if you want to just use some of those slides for your own use, you can pull it, download it as a PowerPoint, and just edit it as you need. I mean, these really are here for you to use. Our social toolkit as well, just real quick there. I mean, some of you who are using Facebook or LinkedIn and doing different messaging for your own companies and your own businesses. So we have these kind of ready to go, baked out and ready to go. And you can just pull images, you can pull content, you can copy and paste the content and use it for your own. So really just some great ideas to offer you, and we're here to help. So if there's anything that we're missing, that you're seeing that we're missing, please let us know. Let us know in the chat. Let us know afterwards. Send us an email, and you can always contact your Navitor team for help with any of these items. So yeah, we're a little over time. Sorry we went a little bit over today, guys. But we want to really thank you for joining us today, for participating with us, and we really appreciate you being here. I just want to I just wanted to remind you to fill out the survey after the webinar. Let us know if there's anything else we can do for you, what you'd like to see in the future. Remember to follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn. If you haven't already, sign up for our emails, and you can do that right there on Navitor.com as well. And that will keep you updated on the latest that Navitor does have to offer. So we will be back in another 2 weeks, and we're going to discuss and products that will support a growing industry of cannabis. And yes, there was a pun intended there, so sorry about that. But until then, y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you. And we will stay on just for a few minutes if there's any questions that anybody has to answer or has to ask, okay? Thank you. All right, guys. Do we have some questions?
I get a ton of questions in the chat, so I've just been kind of posting answers to everyone and trying to best summarize what the person was asking. There were a lot of questions around like the materials and like virtual samples, sell sheets, kind of the booklets, downloading unbranded video material. So Jill, maybe you want to just touch on that. I did provide links in the chat as well.
Great. Yeah, I mean, we do have those all available. So as far as virtuals and so on, we look at those on a case-by-case basis, absolutely. And depending on the product, we do have the availability for some of that. I know with print, it's a little bit different than in the promo world. In the promo world, it's a little bit easier to just pop on a logo, but when you're talking a virtual of a brochure, it does take a little bit more effort and a little bit more design time to put something like that together. So depending on the situation and the opportunity that you have, it's for sure something that we can look at and offering to our customers. And the videos, we do have, like I showed on the Navitor.com site, we do have the video link. So videos can be downloaded. The videos that we have, even the unbranded, if you want to put them on your own YouTube page. And I think that would be my suggestion. You should probably have your own YouTube page, and you can download that video, save it, and then upload it to your own YouTube page. That way, if your you can show it to your customers. And if your customers have comments or if they have questions and they put it right there on YouTube, it's going to go right to you. It won't go to Navitor. It won't go to, you know, some other third party type YouTube channel. So that would be my suggestion for doing that. But for sure, contact your Navitor team to get some help, any help you might need.
And Jill, I thought it was kind of neat because we've seen some customers putting this up on, like, if they have their e-commerce site or even a content site for showing what products you're offering, they're using these videos, even though they're talking about, you know, 10 products in a video, that, you know, they're associating it with lots of different products and industries and however your website is kind of structured, but as almost an alternate view of what you have to offer. So those are kind of interesting as well, not just on a YouTube page, but on your website.
Yep, for sure. For sure, yeah. Anything else that popped up?
We also had some questions on like the best options for the floor decals. So this is carpeting, smooth floors, what's it called? Oh my goodness, the ground stencils, thank you.
Oh.
Ground stencils. So kind of those, and maybe we want to touch on some of that, of kind of what we're seeing, repositionable. That carpeting is a question that comes up a lot.
Sure. I don't know if anybody else wants to take this, but carpeting, you know, we use the same floor decals. It's the same floor decal material, and I don't have the stats in front of me, but I believe it's an 8 mil, and it is a textured surface. They're really great. They're almost like a fabric. They almost have like a fabric type backing, and I'm sure I'm not being technical on this, and I apologize, and we can certainly get the details to anybody who needs them. But they work really well, and they're very repositionable. We do have them. You can put them on carpet, and they can be removed very easily. They lay down nicely on carpet as well and stick well to carpet, and also on tile, and you know, so it can be even concrete. So it will stick, might not last quite as long on concrete, especially outside, but you will see, you know, there's great usage for that. I mean, we estimate probably a good 6 months outside use. So depending of course on how rough that surface is, I mean, you know, you have to look at all of those factors, but they can be used on all of those surfaces.
And I'll add a little bit to that too, just based off some conversations that I've had, is that the benefit of those floor decals is the minimum quantity is 1. So if replacements are needed, they're easy to order. And we always recommend ordering a few more just because wear and tear is going to happen. A decal is never going to be completely indestructible, right? The cleaning's going to happen, and the janitors are going to go over it, the floor cleaners and things, and eventually the edges will pick up. So just a couple of things to be aware of when you're talking about them. 1, you can do a minimum of 1, which is great, but get some extra just to be safe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Looks like Lydia has a question. What about sanitized mats? I'm not totally sure if the question is sanitizing the decals or the mat.
Maybe sanitizing them?
Sanitizing the mats? I don't know. Lydia, you want to give us some more detail? I'm sorry, I don't think we're able to unmute.
Yeah. If you're talking about, are they sanitizable? Do they hold up to disinfectants and that type of thing? If that's your question, then yes, they can be washed. Carpets. So like they can be used on carpets.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They can be used on carpets. The floor decals can be used on carpets, and they won't, you know, they won't damage the carpet surface at all. So they don't leave a residue. And as far as sanitizing over the floor, I would think it'd be the same as a regular floor. And I guess we haven't really done maybe necessarily any tests on that. Looking at something like if you wash the carpet with the decal down, I don't know about that, but we can certainly.
Yeah, we've tested a lot more on like the smooth surfaces, because those are getting the daily cleanings, right? In any sort of retail environment. I mean, think Home Depot and Lowe's, and I mean, they're constantly out there with those huge machines washing the floors in abrasive chemicals. So we have tested with that. So I'm not sure, Lydia, hopefully that's answering your questions there. We also have some questions. I'm trying to kind of summarize questions too, so that we get cover as many as possible. So Deb looks like she's asking some questions about some sizing with the floor decals.
Yeah. And printing on your own on your Canon copier. I think we would have to check into that, Deb. I don't know that would be possible or not, but we'll get back to you on that. We'll check with our floor decal and decal specialists.
Yep.
And get that answer to you. I don't have that answer right now, but as far as sizes go, I mean, we can customize sizes, so.
Perfect. Okay, let's see. So, okay, so we're just getting a little bit more questions about kind of where to get quotes and how quickly we can get quotes. So maybe when I just talk to Navitor and kind of how you can get use the online calculator.
Amanda, you want to take that one?
Yeah, Jill, do you have your screen handy to show?
Oh boy, I probably could. Yeah, just a minute. Good idea. Hold on. I gotta
While
find
she's pulling it up, though, you know, obviously you're more than welcome to give us a call and we can help out that way, or email. But one of the tools that works really well on our website is the products that are sold on Navitor.com. You actually can go into the instant price calculator and build that product yourself and get the price right away. So that way, if you want that instant price, it's right there. So Jill's got it right here on the right-hand side of the screen. She went to decals, and it's intuitive, so it walks you through. And we're going, Jill, talk through what you're picking, since it's a little tough to read on my screen.
Oh, is it? Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
It's I'm picking on the repositionable floor decals, and then I can choose from a bunch of different sizes. So starting from 8.5 by 11 all the way up to 24 by 36. And these are, these are the standard sizes. So just know that even though maybe if you have a custom one that you need, a custom size, then you would just contact us and we could certainly do something a little bit more customized for you. That won't be a problem. So you can choose your quantity as well, up to however many. And then it also gives you the option to add your own artwork, or we do have templates available as well. So it just takes you out to a configurator where you can upload your artwork, etc. So that's a good place to go and get your pricing and get general pricing. And you do have the option to switch from suggested list pricing to your wholesale pricing. That would be back on your account screen. So if you just go to my account, I'll just show you that quick because that can come up sometimes. If you scroll down here where it says more settings, here right now I'm clicked on wholesale pricing, and then I can also click on suggested list pricing. So that's good to know, so that when you're going through this, so you know what price you're giving your customer, and you want to be sure not to show that wholesale pricing to them, etc. So.
And I do have a call out on that for you too, Jill. Just so you guys know, if you have multiple logins tied to one account, whatever you do there is going to happen to everybody. So we've had someone call and say, well, I never changed it. Now my price doubled. We'll come to find out it was someone else in their organization changed that setting, and then it affected everybody. So just a warning there if that happens.
Yep.
And one other thing that I want to have you show real quick, Jill, is if you go back to where that where the instant price calculator was, if you guys see, there's where you can pick the product and hit go, but even below that, there's a form that you can fill out there that says request a custom estimate. So if you can't find exactly what you're needing, this will give you a little bit of a guided form to fill out if you want to request a quote. So you can do it that way too. So just another way that you can get pricing from us.
Yeah, and it's nice because it automatically fills in some of your basic information. So, kind of helps with that as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good.
Great.
I did notice one other question that came up, Sadie, that if you want to talk to real quick. I noticed someone had asked about adhesive for the decals. So maybe specifically talk about the adhesive on those tech decals and then the door jams, just so that way we kind of know what we're dealing with.
Yep. So they are removable. I was actually the one that I had stuck on here while we were doing the meeting. They are removable and they don't leave residue behind. So that's something. And the same with the door jam decals, same thing. So these are going to be on a removable. So the whole purpose is you don't want them to be able to be taken off and put back on. They want to, we want it to be removable without leaving residue behind. Definitely not permanent. So there's a perf down the middle. You put it on there. When the door opens, the perf rips, and then it's just doesn't leave residue for anybody to have to clean up. So yeah, they're all removable, the sanitized ones as well as the tech decals.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone wants them in permanent, that's an option too. So.
Yeah, quick. And I know you guys have some new things in the works that are coming this week, it sounds like too, right?
Yeah, we do actually. We have some, believe someone had actually asked this question somewhere in there about if we had some on stock. So there's some floor decals that are being put in stock that will be able to be ordered in packs of 10. And then same with, let me get the safety seals that we were just talking about. We have safety seals, different designs that are going to be available in stock as well. So that's coming very shortly.
Yeah, that's exciting. All right.
Looks like the questions are dying down, Jill. I think.
Okay. Yeah, good. That's great, you guys. This has been awesome to be able to, just kind of do a little chat with you all and get your input. So if if anything else comes up, feel free to reach out to your Navitor team, your customer service representatives, any way you want to get a hold of us. If it's via chat on navitor.com, just let us know what we can do to help you. That's what we're here for. And with that, I think we'll say goodbye. And hopefully our storm is rolling through. So. Thanks for sticking with us through this.
Thanks, Bartlett, for co-hosting.
Yes, I think Bartlett's medication has taken effect, so he's calm now.
He's the star of the show.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks, hopefully. Come back again.
Bye.
Bye.